Payroll tax cut. And joining us this morning to talk about that and other news out of the Capitol, Congressman Bilbray. Sir, good morning. Thanks for being with us.
Great to be with you, Ron.
All right, first question. Are you satisfied with the payroll tax cut deal?
No, I mean, I voted for it as a step at treating a symptom, but let's be really frank about it. At the same time that we were giving that $80 a month tax cut for the next 10 months, the price of gasoline's going up so much that that money is just going to go into one or two fill-ups. So it's typical that Washington's treating a symptom and trying to make people feel good, but we really got to get to the base issues, things like, how can you not allow a pipeline to come in from Canada when we've got a fuel crisis and we got a job crisis? And it's so easy for Washington to always say no and do these token things instead of getting down and really taking care of the base problem rather than treating the symptoms.
I'm glad you're calling it a token thing, because the question a lot of constituents want to know is why can't a deal be made that lasts longer than just a couple of months?
I'm sorry, Raul, I just lost you.
Why can't the deal for the payroll tax cut deal be longer than just a few months like it has been?
Oh, absolutely. The problem is trying to pay for some of this other stuff, but the biggest issue is the impact on Social Security long term is a big concern, and the real key is getting people back to work where they can be paying into the Social Security fund rather than us trying to take out of it to try to stimulate the economy. And you got to understand too, Raul, we're talking about $10 billion here that is trying to stimulate the economy coming out of Social Security at a time when we have $1.4 trillion of American money overseas that could be brought in to stimulate American jobs on American soil with American money rather than having to borrow from China and steal from our grandchildren. But this is, again, people are doing what looks good for right now before the election. And if you really want to know why it's not going on longer, because everything is being passed off into the election. Even the Keystone Pipeline, the president said he didn't want to make a decision until after the election. I think, this is going to come back to roost in November. I think a lot of people are going to be mad at both sides because this kind of delaying tactic to election time is not going to solve the problems between now and then, and more importantly, until now and when our children, our grandchildren take on these debts.
And I think you're right. I think people are mad now. You know very well, Congressman, the approval rating for Congress at last time I checked was in the single digits. How do you react to that? And is this just a matter of people are just fed up? Are they just sick and tired and no changing?
Absolutely. Well, we've got a Senate that hasn't approved a budget in over 1,030 days. And the frustrating thing for those of us in the House, we passed 30 bills trying to stimulate the economy and get jobs going. And, look, Harry Reid's a family friend, but Harry's got to be told that they got to do more than just be a debating club over the Senate. They've basically done nothing. And while we approve budgets and try to get some stuff done over the House, Democrats and Republicans can work together. I mean, Nancy Pelosi and I got a bill through just to allow the America's Cup to come here and try to save the jobs that America's Cup could have for San Diego. It is sad, though, that Washington controls the country so closely that we need an act of Congress to have a sailboat race in San Diego. But that's that kind of thing you're not seeing over in the Senate. You're not seeing the kind of cooperative effort that needs to be made when, like Bob Filner and I got a 2-year budget for the veterans. And thank God we did that, because with no budgets at all, the veterans would have been shortchanged on a lot of this stuff. So it's really frustrating to see what's going on. I think the voters have got to look at that. And they've got to look at the Senate very closely, the fact that do they want a process in the Senate that basically doesn't allow anything at all to happen, even though the House of Representatives and the President is asking it to be done.
Quickly, before we let you go, Congressman, your thoughts on the presidential race from the Republican side, the debate last night. Congressman, can you hear us?
Now try it a little louder.
Your thoughts on the Republican race for president, the debate last night, I'm sure you watched.
And look, my feeling about it is Newt Gingrich is a personal friend. I worked with him. We balanced the budget. He's helped me a lot, but frankly, I think Mitt Romney is the guy who can help to pull the two sides together and actually get the business side of this thing really going. He saved the Olympics, and frankly, when it comes down to border issues, I am astonished that somebody from Massachusetts can understand the fact that quit talking about all the stuff at the border. Let's start going to the real source of the problem, and that is stop giving tax deduction to the employers who are creating the problem by hiring illegals. Once we're able, crack down on the employers who are creating the problem, you'd have to spend a lot less money at the border if you didn't have people rewarding illegals for coming here with jobs. And I think there's one thing Democrats and Republicans should be able to support, is stop giving the businesses tax deductions that are creating the problem.
All right, still a lot of work to do, obviously. Congressman Bilbray, we thank you for your time this morning. All right, it is